Alright, so I'm going to pick up with more Homeward, He Who Caught the Wind. And this time, I'm going to work on the drinks game. So I did Lisa already, so let's go on to the next one.
Good afternoon, traveler. I didn't expect the honor of witnessing your harmonizing talents here in Mondstadt.
Here on vacation or here on business?
Both, actually. A lady calling herself a mage asked me to come manage her flower shop. At about the same time, the Cat's Tail commissioned me to create a new fragrance for their establishment. Ending today's busy schedule with a drink crafted by you in person is truly a wonderful reward.
Then I'll make sure to pull out all the stops. I'll make you a special surprise.
I have faith in your choice.
I believe it's more sensitive to aromas than most people. Sorry, I'm yawning. If I create an unbalanced blend of scents, it might make her uncomfortable. In any case, I should use ingredients with complementary scents and try to add a dash of Fontaine flavor, or Fontanian flavor too. Let's start with a Mondstadt take on a Lumidos Twilight. Why don't you ask questions first? Holy shit. Make us go through making 2 drinks each time? Kidding me? Okay, so tea, fermented juice, and mint. Next. Chop, chop. Chop the ingredients to small pieces. Shake it gently. Classic tall. Berry. A refined cocktail from Fontaine that has been described by drinkers as capturing the warm glow of sunset over Lumidos Harbor. Rumor has it that you can still order this gem from the hidden menu at the Rusty Rudder, though it's rare for the bartender to create its original flavor perfectly.
Care to give this a try, Miss Emily?
Your artistry is truly a pleasure to watch.
Oh, she's making this now.
This tastes like a local variant of a Lumidos Twilight. Am I right?
You're spot on. You got it right away.
The gentle and elegant taste, with its distinct layers combined with a hint of Mondstadt's characteristic scent, offers quite a welcoming flavor, all the while avoiding potentially discordant aromas. Though in reality, there's no need for you to be so conservative. I have quite a high tolerance for flavors that stray outside the boundaries of conventional wisdom.
So this one's probably a bit too traditional, huh? Guess you're looking for something more avant-garde?
Your drink was nice, but it would be perfect if you could make one with a little more depth. A cocktail that shows off your unique understanding and enhances my impression of Mondstadt. If you need time to mull things over, perhaps you might find inspiration in a little light conversation?
Which is why I said we should start with the questions first. Instead of making me make a drink twice. Work in progress. How's everything been with your perfumery lately?
Oh, thank you for asking. It's been going well, though this trip to Mondstadt has presented some unexpected challenges. When I first got here, I was relying on a copy of An Overview of Aromatic Substances and the Human Senses to identify promising local ingredients from the Mondstadt region. To my surprise, my trial fragrance, which used valberry as the primary note, proved far too sweet in the context of a tavern, relaxing people so much that they ended up feeling drowsy. The bartender with the beautiful ears, for instance, fell asleep right at the bar.
I never knew Valberries could have that effect. I guess that means the Valberry perfume is off the table.
Let's just say that sweetness isn't always a case of the more the merrier. Maintaining an appropriate balance is beneficial for both body and mind. Even in daily life, I rarely eat sweet food, and I try to avoid fruits like berries that have a high sugar content. In the end, I completely eliminated Valberry as an ingredient and turned instead to windwheel aster, with some success, I might add.
Did you buy these flowers just now?
They're part of my reward from the flower shop owner. Important ingredients for making perfumes. Thanks to these, I was able to complete my commission for the cat's tail. I studied Mondstadt's Cecilia flowers many years ago. In fact, the fragrance of Cecilia in certain fields has become synonymous with Mondstadt itself. However, this is a special case. Some cats are quite averse to the scent of Cecilia, and we need to be particularly mindful of their preferences.
So, what did you use for your aroma this time? Which flower did you use instead?
Windwheel aster. The various parts of the windwheel aster plant can be ground into a powder to extract their essences. I then blended the scents from its petals and leaves. The result carries the intoxicating sweetness of mead, while still emphasizing the fresh notes contained within the flower's stems and leaves. I just took it for a little trial run at the cat's tail, and the cats seemed to really like it, while the clients themselves found it comforting and invigorating. Extracting exquisite fragrances from ordinary overlooked ingredients? Oh, that's what truly brings me joy.
The weather's nice today. So this is what it feels like to start a conversation with a classic icebreaker.
It really is. A while earlier, I watched a whole run of fair weather clouds float by, fluffy as pillows. It's not overly humid either, and the wind is gentle too. In such conditions, one's sense of smell is heightened, but not to an excessive degree. When scents are blended well, they naturally combine with the ambient context, leaving particularly powerful impressions.
I never realized scents were so affected by the weather. I've never heard that before. How fascinating.
It seems something similar is true for mixology. As long as you choose a base of appropriate strength, the various flavors will blend seamlessly together. When mixed properly, all the ingredients work as one to create a most wonderful symphony for your taste buds.
I see. So the combination of flavors is key. You prefer flavors that blend together harmoniously.
Yes, that's it. Now I think about it, layering distinct flavors doesn't really suit my personal preferences.
Usual hobbies and interests. What do you usually drink?
Usually, after work, my friends from the Maison Gardiennage sometimes treat me to a few drinks. I usually stick to fruit tea. That way I can get straight back to work after our gatherings. If it's before a holiday and my friends are in high spirits, I sometimes order a small glass of sparkling fruit wine. There was an officer named Terena who used to treat me to aged Corte wine. But since she was transferred to the Special Security and Surveillance Patrol, we haven't had the chance.
Oh, so you do drink alcohol sometimes? I was worried it might have overstimulated... I was worried it might overstimulate your senses.
In the world of science, high-proof alcohol is a widely used solvent. I've grown well accustomed to the smell of it by now. Besides, when I'm slightly tipsy, my state of mind changes, which in turn alters my approach to perfumes. It doesn't matter if the result is good or bad, it's all about trying something new. So I don't mind drinks with just a little bit of alcohol, but I don't like anything too strong.
Emily created a few fragrances using windmill asters, and apparently it was quite successful. But what's the best way to incorporate the scent windmill aster? We went from talking about the weather to the best way to blend scents. Emily prefers single, seamlessly integrated scents rather than those with distinct layers. In which case, I'll need to blend each ingredient together thoroughly in her drink. I should shake it a lot harder to make sure the flavors don't separate. Emily enjoys fruit tea, but she occasionally drinks alcohol to get a little bit tipsy and spark her inspiration. So I guess I can add a dash of light wine to the base. Perhaps something fruity? The sweetness of mulberries has added a few complications to Emily's work. Emily believes that too much sweetness may not be a good thing for the human body. Mulberries are also used in Luminous Twilight. Perhaps I better swap them for something else. Momo asters seem like a good choice. To make sure everything blends into one, I should try finally chopping the petals and spreading them across the top. Okay. I think I know how to improve your drink. Please bear with me a second while I update the recipe.
Just from our brief chat, you've already formulated a new concoction. Perhaps you possess a natural talent for this kind of creative work.
Okay, so go tea, fruit wine, fermented juice, chopped petals, mixed. Cut the greens into pieces of any size. Let's cut them into small bits. Sorry about that. I was trying to mute my mic, but I kept missing the thing to mute it with. I just have to like tap on the middle of the top of the mic and it's supposed to mute it, but I was missing apparently. Shake hard. Double-walled glass. Let's go with that. Luminous Twilight Special Blend. Based on a Luminous Twilight, this novel cocktail was concocted specially for Emily. The perfumer from Fontaine told you that excessive sweetness makes people drowsy, and she prefers to enjoy just a little touch of tipsiness. Clearly, knocking a guest out at the bar isn't a bartender's main goal. On days of gentle wind and clear skies, heightened senses can amplify the flavor of a perfectly harmonious drink. Inspired by the art of fragrance, you developed this subtle elegance masterpiece.
Here you go. A new and improved, Emily-inspired, Luminous Twilight. I haven't come up with a name for it yet.
The colors are cooler and more refreshing, and the fragrance is delightfully subtle to match. Are these bright specks on the surface the crushed petals and leaves of windwheel asters?
Yes, you clearly know your stuff. It's the forest symbol of Mondstadt.
I'm sure it must taste wonderful. Let me try. In the language of flowers, the windwheel aster represents the visible winds. Your cocktail not only captures their form, but also the fragrance they carry. Therefore, I suggest you call this drink Windborne Bouquet. The winds and clouds of Mondstadt swirl together in the glass, leaving behind enchanting traces of fragrance.
A perfect name from a master of perfume. Elegant and full of style.
Really? Perhaps it's just a habit of my profession. I'm glad you like it. Now it's time to slowly savor this masterpiece. Thank you so much. This trip to Mondstadt has been so rewarding. This is the most memorable cocktail I've ever had. Once I get back to Fontaine, I will attempt to recreate this moment as both a fragrance and a perfume.
I'm honored. That's so exciting to hear.
Once I've perfected the recipes, I hope you'll do me the honor of being the first customer to experience these new products. Until then, I look forward to seeing you in the Court of Fontaine.
All right, let's do another one. You know, I haven't noticed if it says who the next person is, but let's see who it is.
Hmm?
Oh, Eula.
So you're looking after the drink stand now. If I'd known sooner, I would have stopped by this morning.
Thanks for your support. Anytime you need a drink, I'm here to serve.
I've got to say, I'm getting curious. I've heard a lot about your mixology skills. I wonder what kinds of drinks you can mix with the ingredients Glenfiddich has prepared.
You seem busy. You've been working extra hard lately, haven't you?
I don't have much of a choice. It's just one thing after another right now. First off, the Knights of Favonius annual combat assessment is coming up. And this year, the standards are higher than ever. As the captain of the reconnaissance company, I have to lead by example. At the very least, I need to rank as one of the top 3 captains in the practical portion. So, I've been intensifying my training lately.
So that's your style, huh? It's my first time seeing this side of you as a captain.
Being a descendant of sinners means I have to work hard to maintain my position. I'll have you know I've never once neglected my duties. Anyway, on top of all that, my duel with Miss Clorand required a lot of focus and energy. Learning how to turn defense into attack and seize the initiative when facing a combined assault from sword and musket. Even now, I'm still chewing through the details. But in the end, the exchange went well, and both parties learned a great deal. Never mind writing reports from 6 different perspectives. I feel like there's enough worth mentioning to write 24 of the things.
Sounds like you could do with a very stiff drink. Something to replenish your energy.
Oh, I sure could. Anything that'll perk me up would be welcome. I'll leave the details to you.
Given Eula's current condition, might be a good idea to mix her a twinkling starlight. Fruit wine, fuzzy water, wolf hook. Do small bits. Small bits. Shake hard. And then the glass, aromatic goblet, this one. Star salt. This special cocktail was inspired by the stunning vistas over Cider Lake beneath the starry sky. Both its color and flavor hint to refreshing nature, but those with a lighter tolerance should be careful of its lingering kick.
One twinkling starlight for Captain Eula. Hope you like it.
Judging by your confident tone, I'm certain I will. Well then, I'll make sure to savor this thoroughly. Huh, not bad. Sweet and tingly, with a delightful airiness. The fizzy water really brings it to life. I suddenly feel full of vim and vigor. But just one glass doesn't quite scratch the itch. How about something with a bit more bite?
Not strong enough for you? Looking for something with more of a kick?
Don't hold back. You don't need to worry about putting me on the floor with nothing but a couple of drinks.
Let's chat while I decide. Just making it stronger won't cut it. I need to rewrite the recipe from scratch.
Works for me. The first company hasn't assigned me any paperwork for tonight, so I'm free to catch up and try your new creations at my leisure.
Drink on the table. I was just wondering, that bottle you're carrying, is it imported fruit juice?
That's right. The merchant I got it from called it Romaritime flower fruit extract. It has a very unique smell. Here, have a bottle.
Have you been drinking a lot of this lately? Why carry it around?
Oh, it's a necessary courtesy. In that book Miss Magistus lent me, The Blade Dancer, 20 Years On, it says, after a duel, a Fontanian swordsman will politely invite their defeated opponents to a banquet. To properly play host to Miss Clorand, I searched for quite some time to locate a rare goods merchant in Dorman Port who sold this juice.
Sounds like something out of a story.
I had my doubts at first, too. But Amber said something that makes a lot of sense. She said that even if this custom doesn't really exist, following it still shows I've made an effort to understand Fontaine's cultural heritage. Besides, who doesn't like trying new things, right? When I gave it to her at our post-training banquet, Miss Clorand really did enjoy this juice.
It's been a while since we last saw each other. Have you been stationed near Dragonspine this whole time?
Yes, I have. For a while, the situation there was difficult. A gang of outlaw engineers was messing about with some sort of mechanism control technology, attempting to manipulate ruin graders so they could rob merchant caravans. To make matters worse, several veteran knights who had been stationed at Dorman Port were transferred to my squad, and they weren't happy to be taking orders from that Lawrence girl. Leading them on this mission was quite eventful. It took 3 weeks of stealth operations in the snow, with no fires to keep us warm, before we finally located the enemy's stronghold. Those veteran knights faced the bitter cold and were almost taken down by the enemy's smuggled battle mechs. Fortunately, the battle went our way, and they had no choice but to acknowledge my abilities.
I'm sorry you had to deal with that. Did you catch a cold?
Me? I'm completely fine. But thank you for your concern. It was mentally tiring for sure, but fortunately, the operation wore them down far more than it did me. They won't be questioning my authority again anytime soon. If any new recruits try to make my life difficult, I'll just have my veterans give them a few friendly pointers. I guess you could call them a permanent solution, huh?
Eating on duty. What do you usually eat when you're busy?
If you want to know what I've been eating recently, I'd better start by mentioning the logistics company's latest revolution. They launched a diet improvement initiative and started distributing a form of standardized canned food to knights operating in the wilderness.
Didn't we help with something like that?
In the past, we only had dry rations. Every mealtime we had to set up pots and campfires, roll dice to choose a cook, and take turns standing guard. In all honesty, it was a bit of a hassle. Now we just need to bring our standard field rations, comprising of 5 cans and 9 paper packages. We can heat the cans by the campfire, and then we're ready to eat.
Sounds pretty convenient. But sounds like it also sounds like there isn't a downside.
You did say sounds like, right? Our canned food supplier has quite the stellar reputation, and their regular meals are indeed quite good. The problem is, in order to meet preservation standards, they have to make their military-grade meals way too salty. The vice captain of the 5th Company, who has a somewhat dry sense of humor, went so far as to say, "This food's bad enough to bring down the wrath of Liyue's stove god."
I wouldn't doubt it.
In any case, after eating it for a week, my taste buds have gone completely numb.
Is it really that bad? Someone should be held to account.
You can hardly blame the logistics company. After all, it is hard to please everyone. Our feedback has already been submitted, and they should be working on fixing the issue. Of course, having fresh meals prepared in camp by a dedicated company chef is still the best option.
With how demanding her duties in Dragonspine have been, Mila probably hasn't had time to fully recover. To help you replenish her strength, I can replace the cool-tasting wolf hooks with some warm cocoa. Eula had some special Romatine flower fruit extract with her. She gave me a bottle to keep. She really likes the fresh, fruity flavor. Probably find a way to incorporate into her drink. This latest experience seems to be something worth remembering for Eula. I should find a way to reflect that in her drink. I can probably tease out some threads of inspiration from our discussions and then try to piece them together. Eula brought up the canned rations she's been issued with recently. Apparently they're so salty they've left her taste buds numb. With that in mind, I should probably remove the star salt from the mix. If Eula sees a coating of salt on the rim of her glass, it might make her feel faint. Let's see. Memorable experience. Yeah, juice. Every region has its own signature flavors, and the sword techniques of Mondstadt and Fontaine have their own distinct character, too. Need to find out what Eula thinks. Maybe I should chat with her some more? How do you feel after your contest?
Oh my. To be honest, before we crossed swords, I was feeling eager, but also a little nervous. Miss Cloran's combat style comes from the mysterious Marechaussee hunters. In the library, there are some old Fontainian newspapers from hundreds of years ago that give some idea of how formidable an organization it was. A more recent newspaper claimed that Miss Cloran was an orphan from an underwater kingdom, and that before battle she would perform rituals inviting spirits to possess her sword. Certainly, from my own experiences, Miss Cloran's abilities more than match those descriptions.
Such a historic showdown deserves an extra special cocktail. Should we commemorate this with a sword-themed drink?
Incorporating elements of swordsmanship into a drink? Huh. Certainly a creative idea, I'll give you that. A commemorative cocktail at a time like this sounds nice, but how do you plan to express something like swordsmanship with a drink?
From what I've seen, Fontainian fighters armed with rapiers excel at thrusting attacks. They put a high price on precision and sustained pressure.
That definitely matches the description I read in that book.
If I were to compare them to a drink, I'd say they're like coffee, Belay fruit Icewind, or Mondstadt fruit wine. They may not overwhelm your senses, but they refuse to fade away. In fact, the first drink you tried had a fruit wine base.
That's right. You really know your stuff. I doubt there's anyone else in all of Tevat who could come up with such a perfect metaphor.
Your swordsmanship is different, though. You're like a lead dancer with the claymore, guiding your blade through big, sweeping arcs. You only need one hit to unleash an avalanche of destruction. In other words, your style emphasizes forceful impact at the moment of contact.
There's no need to make it sound so fancy. It's just an aristocratic variant of Favonius blade work, with a bit of personal flair.
So you're more like a strong spirit that hits the senses hard and then leaves a clean, icy aftertaste without lingering flavors.
Firewater. In recent years, firewaters gained popularity the world over, following in the wake of prosperous Snezhnayan merchants. These days, almost every tavern has a signature drink that uses it as a base.
Then we've found the perfect solution together.
You really are good. Why don't we try replacing the fruit wine with firewater? As for the alcohol content, that's not a problem. Plenty of the expedition team may have drunk themselves senseless with firewater. But me, I'm full of confidence.
Uh-huh. I have a feeling you're gonna get drunk, girl. Need two more. We talked about the differences between Eula and Cloran's bladework. I think I can represent this in the mouthfeel of Eula's drink. The obvious conclusion is to swap out the fruit wine for firewater. To match the big sweeping arcs of her sword fighting, a small cup won't cut it. We need something a little heftier. Okay, now I got them all. Alright, I think that's all I need. I know exactly how to prepare your cocktail.
Brilliant.
Your next cocktail.
I'm looking forward to seeing how you do.
Okay, so fire water, lemon time fire juice, coca. Good thing it's pieces of any size. Let's do this one. Actually, no, this one. Shake card. We want a big glass. Medium or large goblet. Let's do this one. Next. Goblet. Oh, has to be... Okay. Has to be goblet, so... Let's do this one. Any garnish except star salt. Lemon is refreshing, so let's do a lemon. Seafoam Sword Song. Based on a twinkling starlight, this novel cocktail was concocted especially for Eula. Eula's swordsmanship is like a whirling waltz. She strikes with the force of an avalanche, yet her finishing flourishes are clean and elegant. This bold approach is reflected in her drink preferences. To match her style, the drink you prepare combines ice pure fire water, Romantine flower juice steeped in carbonated meading, and restorative coca to replenish her energy and banish fatigue, creating a true dance of flavors. Since this blend is inspired by the Spindrift Knight's dancing blade, Seafoam Sword Song felt like the perfect name.
Here's your all-new Seafoam Sword Song, mixed to meet your personal preferences.
Oh my, what beautiful colors. And you even added my Romaritime flower fruit extract. The aroma is perfect, and I can smell the alcohol, but it doesn't stifle the fruity fragrance. Let's see how it tastes.
Can't wait to hear what you think.
Give me a moment to come up with the right words. I need to think carefully. I know it's unbecoming of a lady, and a proper connoisseur would savor their drink slowly. But I'm sorry, this is just too good to be true. Can you mix me another?
Of course. Feel free to order as many as you like. How many do you want? 2? 3? It's no problem for me.
Oh, no, what was I going to say? I've completely lost my train of thought.
Yep, she's drunk.
Whatever. I feel fantastic. This cocktail... Oh, it's the best I've ever had. I think I'm gonna head home and get some sleep.
Do you think you've maybe had one too many? Maybe I should have gone easier with the firewater.
Don't worry about me. This is the happiest tipsy I've been in years. I'm still far from being drunk.
Being tipsy is being drunk, girl.
By the time I've written up those reports for my exchange with Miss Clarend, I'll have been on duty for 3 months straight. Jean, the acting grandmaster. Isn't it about time she gave me some time off? I won't be forgetting this injustice in a hurry. You mark my words.
Yeah, she's drunk. Alright, I'll do the other one later with some of the combat stuff. Oh, there's still a lot of drink stuff to do. Holy shit. Okay. I guess I'll have that as a separate thing then. Clean that. Not just yet for you, though. Alright, so that's going to be it for now, and I'll see you guys later.